What's shaking, bacon? So in today's video, we're going to discuss how difficult it is to start and maintain a lion diet or carnivore diet. We'll start first with the carnivore diet. So the carnivore diet is any meat you can think of. If you got to ask if it's in the diet, it probably isn't in the diet. You know, are beans in the diet? No. Are nuts in the diet? No. Those are some of the common questions. What about vegetables and fruit? Look, it's just meat. But it sounds kind of out there, but it's like an ultimate elimination diet. Look at it like that. So you don't have to do it the rest of your life. Some people do because of autoimmune disorders or health reasons. And that being said, people will think, oh, that's a really restrictive diet. But the reality is, it's not a restrictive diet. The way you're eating might feel restrictive for a while because you're limiting all your food to not just one food group, but sometimes in the case of what I'm doing, one type of food, just red meat. But everything else in your life is opened up. So it's not restrictive. Maybe it is diet-wise, but when you're feeling better, you don't mind running upstairs, your joints feel better in the morning, you're not getting back pain as often as you used to because you're not as inflamed. It's something that people can do whether it's for a week or a month or indefinitely. When I switched over to the carnivore diet, I followed some basic rules. One, if you're hungry, you're doing it wrong. Simple as that. You can't over-explain that. It means eat enough. If you're hungry, eat meat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Eat till you're satisfied or full. You eat bacon, chicken, turkey, ham of any kind. Processed, you can eat processed, but ideally not. So as a treat, sometimes I might have some processed deli meats or cheese. I don't regularly have cheese. I found when I have cheese, I don't feel as good on this way of eating when I have cheese. Some people can have cheese, all the more power to them. The problem with lots of the dairies is there's carbs and sugar in them to a very, very small amount, depending on what you're getting. So you have to be watchful. I've switched over to the lion diet, as most of you know, and that's just ruminant animals, so like lamb, beef, salt, water. How I've tripped myself up over the years doing this. The first time I did it, I got kidney stones after 3 months, and I explained that in another video, how they were just releasing from my body because uric acid's kind of planted all over your body as crystals when you have gout issues, and mine turned into a kidney problem because they all backed up in the kidney because I was losing weight. After the 3 months, I went through kidney stones for a few months, and I've been on allopurinol since. So that being said, I've suffered from gout for 15 years before any of this ever happened. So, and my kidney stones were gout. So it's the second most common form of kidney stones. After that, I had a hard time getting back on it. I just had a battle with sugar addiction, and I'll go into the sugar addiction in another video, but I was always craving carbs and sugars. So I would try carnivore for weeks or maybe a month or two, and I find with me, it's different with everyone, the first week's really difficult. It can be. The second week, not as bad. By the end of the first month, you don't have any cravings, but you wouldn't want to sit in front of a bunch of your favorite foods that are full of sugar or carbohydrates. By month 2, really you feel really good. By month 3, if I make it to month 3, I'm bulletproof. I have no problems. I don't have any cravings whatsoever. So the difficult thing most people have when it comes to sugar addiction and doing a carnivore diet is alcohol. A lot of people love having their alcohol. They're like, oh yeah, I can handle any diet out there, but I gotta have my wine at the end of the day. Well, that doesn't really work with this. And I've never had a problem with alcohol. I have a liquor cabinet just to the off camera here. I have no desire to have any. It's never been something that's had a hold on me. Junk food, ice cream, yes. Alcohol, no. Do I like it? Yes. Could I live without it? Absolutely. Doesn't faze me at all. If you want the benefits of feeling better, you have to make changes. It's what it comes down to. And eventually you get to a point, as I got to, where you can look at what's happened with your health, and you have to turn and say at one point, it was a fun ride while it lasted, but I got to be more serious with this. And I started in early January, and it wasn't a New Year's resolution. It's just the timing of when I started it. I just had to make a change, and I gave it a good shot last year, and I did really well with it. And then I went off track to put my dog down. So like you have triggers, and it goes back to that emotional eating. And I just went on a bender for months It sounds stupid, but yeah, I did. I lived off of junk food. I'm not exaggerating when I say I lived off of junk food. I barely had any real meals. So you got to check yourself. What things can you do to sabotage yourself? Um, Going too long between meals, so you get hungry and then you want to have anything. So it lessens over time when you do carnivore or lion diet, because you become more fat adapted. So even when you do get hungry, you're still going to want to crave the things you can have: chicken wings, bacon, just something quick. You can go to a grocery store and get something pre-cooked if you're in a real pinch. But sometimes they put sugar and lots of MSG in those pre-cooked foods, so you got to watch that. But it's better than nothing, right? The next thing you have to watch for is just things that trip you up. For me, like stress eating. And it's not like I'm walking around getting stressed all the time, but everyone does have stressors. Maybe it's a long day. Maybe it's a bad night's sleep. Maybe it was a fight with your spouse. Maybe it could be anything. So what we want to do is just keep those things in check and catch yourself when those triggers come up, or so you don't sabotage yourself. So everyone's got different things that sabotage us, and you have to be aware of what things sabotage you. And by keeping full on this all the time, it just helps. Just stay full. Keep food accessible in the fridge. So that is very affordable, because I get all my beef in bulk. So I'm paying $4.60 a pound Canadian. Know your prices. Know what prices are good for what cuts. You pay more for AAA red meat, and that's often because it's marbled better. So that's one of the big things you're getting when you buy AAA meat, is the marbling. So if you're looking at AAA meat and there's no marbling, don't pay the extra money. It is. Every now and then I might treat myself if I go to a restaurant, and that's where it was getting expensive. Because when I was in a pinch, I'd go to a restaurant and I'd order wings, and I have a big appetite, so I can easily have 3-4 pounds of wings without batting an eye. How to avoid that? Just stay full on the food you can eat. I'm gonna keep saying that a lot through this video. So we want to make sure that you don't limit yourself so much that you're tired of eating this way. Give yourself the outlets and the freedom, but don't make them treat meals. Don't make them cheats. A lick, taste, or bite of a food you're not allowed to have is just enough to keep the temptation there. If you think, well, it's my birthday, or a lick of an ice cream cone. If you deal with carbohydrate addiction, yes, it is. It is a big deal. You don't hear an alcoholic saying, I'm just gonna have a little sip of a beer. It doesn't work that way. So if you have carbohydrate addiction, you wanna have none of it. Some people can manage it. Most can't. They're a lot like smokers that way, and alcoholics. You don't want to have sugar substitutes when you're eating this way, because it screws with the dopamine receptors and also your insulin. So it thinks you're getting sugar, so it's going to keep those cravings alive. So you want to cut all that out, and just, if you're going to try it, you go cold turkey. You can't say to yourself, well, I had a glass of wine, I've been good, it's been 2 weeks. It doesn't work that way. Even if it's low sugar wine, if you're going to do it, you do it, whether it's a week or a month. You can't tell yourself how good it feels if you haven't given it a full shot, because you are probably only experiencing 90% of the relief or the benefits. In the carnivore way of eating, it's that last 2, 3, or 4% that are the most dramatic in how you feel. If you're eating 98% of the way, you're only gonna maybe get 50% of the benefits. It's really interesting that way. See what it's like to do the first time round for a week without a lick, taste, or bite of the wrong food. And if it feels good, try it for the month that way. Take it 1 week at a time. You'll feel great. And if you ever stop and then try it again, and you try it again with, say, I'm gonna have a glass of wine every week though, or a treat day, you'll see the difference in how you feel compared to the first time you did. You have a nice baseline the other way. So if you're ever gonna try something like this, keep in mind, you wanna make sure you get enough fatty meats. So if you're gonna try and do it off lean meats, you're gonna be hungry all the time, it's gonna be expensive, and you're not gonna feel good doing it. You have to have fat. So lots of red meat is the way to go on this. But it's true, I wanna always try and have as much in the fridge as I can. I'm trying to stay away from restaurants. That's saving my pocketbook a lot of money, because I'm a busy guy. I carry 2 jobs, and there's some days where I just didn't eat enough, or I'm about to go into a workout, so I want to make sure I'm fueled for my workout in a few hours. So what do? I'll quickly grab something at a restaurant, like a steak or burger patties at McDonald's. So I think that's everything. So we just want to make sure the highlights from this: always stay full. Have foods easily accessible. Keep food in the fridge that's cold that you can easily grab, like burger patties. In case you're in a pinch, you can go in, whoop, grab one. Some people might get bored by having the same foods over and over again. This time around, I'm not. I'm surprisingly satisfied sticking with just red meat. Try and keep the expense low. Try not to eat out at restaurants too much. Always try and keep 2 or 3 days ahead of yourself, so that you're never going to be in a pinch. So if you typically have 2 pounds of meat a day, just say 2 pounds of meat, keep 6 pounds to 10 pounds in the fridge at a time. And when you start to get low on that, then make more. Make it in bulk. So that's the other beautiful thing about this. You have so much time on your hands because you can cook in bulk and keep everything in the fridge. And I'll do that for the food through the day. And then I like to have a nice steak or something at night that's nice and fresh. So I have my maintenance food through the day that I keep in the fridge. And then at night, I'll have something that I've taken out and I've maybe sous vide. It's a great way to go with this kind of eating. Keeps the meat really moist. It's maybe I'll do a video on different ways of cooking beef to help keep the variety going so that it's not too dry of a diet for some people. You don't have as much brain fog throughout the day. There's all these benefits you get when you eat this way, and you won't know unless you try. Thanks a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.